Hello lovely ladies, come on in. I have had the loveliest week visiting Brian's family up north in Middlesbrough, and I want to share with you some of the places that we visited, and it's actually been quite an eventful week already. We have spent, Herbie and I have spent 4 hours in A&E because he slipped and hurt himself in the shower, but I'll update you on that in a minute. The journey up there took a little bit longer than was expected because there were 2 accidents going up. So it was really quite tiring, and it was a really hot day. But it was really nice to arrive at the lodge. First impressions, fantastic. As I'm talking through it, I will try and show some footage here to the side of me. We stayed at a country park called Angrove Country Park, and it was situated in Great Ayton, which is just outside Gisborough, which is near Middlesbrough. Beautiful. To be honest with you, out of all the years that we've been travelling up visiting family, this past week has been the best weather-wise. We really did hit it right, bearing in mind we booked it months and months ago. So the lodge is very impressive. The grounds are very impressive. It's quite new. I think it's about 5 years old. I could be wrong, but I think it's around that sort of period. And first impressions, great. Small things that I picked up on was I didn't really feel it was disabled friendly or elderly friendly, because my mum's 85, she come along with us, and everywhere is kind of gravel or grass. There was no tarmac areas for anyone to walk, which I did mention this to them. And there were a couple of little sort of tweaky things, but nothing major to mention about here. So that was, it was a nice, relatively quiet stay, because they did have some work going on there as well, which, you know, is a bit of a shame when you're going away on holiday and they've got workmen there. But that aside, they did tell us about that in advance, but it was a shame. Yes, we visited family and we went to Yarm, which is a beautiful little village or town. I don't know what you'd describe it as. And there was a couple of charity shops there. Oh my God, absolutely phenomenal. Now, I do like a charity shop, and these were the best charity shops I've ever been to. I got two things. I got this really lovely dress. It's a sea salt dress. I got it in a size 22. And this one I got from Mind, and it was £9.75. And it's this beautiful, and it's really lightweight as well. You know, like some of sea salt products are sort of like a thick, heavy cotton or linen, but this is really nice and light. Let me just see what the makeup of this is. 98% organic cotton. So yeah, and it's a lovely lightweight cotton, and it's a beautiful colour. It's probably not coming off on the screen very well, but it's like a grey sort of purpley sort of colour. It's really nice. So I got that, so really pleased with that. Then we went into another charity shop in Yarm, and we went into Oxfam, and I picked up this brown linen top with a lovely deep V neckline on both sides, the back and the front, with a nice short sleeved top. And I didn't know when I bought it, actually. I just bought it thinking it was second hand, but it's not. It's brand new with a tag, size 22, and I paid £6.99 for that. So I envisaged that with a nice pair of sort of like white trousers. Oh, but while I think of it, I'll just tell you, I have ordered some clothes from Hilara, one of them being some white trousers. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that top whilst wearing the trousers. So that should be coming within the next few weeks. So hopefully I'll be able to get that filmed and shown definitely within the next month. And just so it's in my mind, I've ordered the walking pad as well. but they've asked me to, once I've received it, to use it for a month before I record anything. So it's a true, opinion of mine that I want to share with you. So I thought that was really, really good of them, that they weren't pushing me to sort of release some footage, etc. So those two things are coming, which is really, really exciting. So we also went to Great Ayton, because although the site is within Great Ayton, it isn't within the sort of town or village, and it's a beautiful village. I'll try and insert some photos as I'm talking. It's definitely the sort of place I could retire to, but apparently I think it does suffer with flooding. So, but it's just so pretty. And there's a butcher's there. There's two butchers there. One's cheaper than the other, but we went in not knowing. We went into the more expensive one, and they do their own pies. Oh my God, absolutely delicious. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try and look it up whilst I'm editing this video and insert a picture here of the butchers. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, and the people were lovely up north. I just absolutely love up north. It's definitely somewhere where I could live, and the scenery. And I know this sounds silly, but it feels so much more spacious up there than down here. I feel like everywhere's being built on down in the southeast, where you go up north and you still got lots and lots of scenery and fields, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I absolutely loved it, and obviously the weather helped that as well. So but I was saying to Brian that rather than book holidays in advance now, because it's mainly just going to be me and him going up there, because in the past we've always had to work around the children's school holidays, but I think what I'm going to do from now on is literally wait a couple of weeks before we're intending on going, roughly on when we're hoping to go, check out the weather, and then book somewhere up there, so that when we do go up, we know we're going to get some half decent weather. So yeah, so that was that. And then another day we went to Beamish Museum. What a place. It's one of those places I've wanted to go for absolute years, but we went about 7 or 8 years ago, and we literally parked up in the car park and the heavens opened, and it wasn't just like a little drizzle, it was full on heavy rain. So we thought, there's no point, we're not going to enjoy it. So we never went back, which is a bit of a shame, but until now. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But we didn't get the opportunity to go all the way around it. But the one good thing about the Beamish Museum is the ticket is an annual ticket. So you can go back, so any time within that year, and go back to the museum. So hopefully we'll be able to go back up north within the year, and then go back to Beamish again and just finish off the areas that we didn't see. So we saw the 1950s area, and then we went on to the 1800s, and within the 1950s area we have fish and chips. Now the fish was gorgeous, I must admit. It was lovely, piping hot, the batter was beautiful, and it was a small size fish, which I like because I can't eat too much batter or anything. But the chips were really disappointing. They were just warm and they weren't crispy, they were kind of sort of soggy, and I don't like that. I like crispy chips with, like a nice hot fluffy inside. The only place that I've found that do the chips that I really like is in Canterbury, down one of the side streets in Canterbury. So that was a bit of a shame, but the fish was lovely. So then we done the 1800s area, and then I think we did another area, and I can't remember what that was. And then it was like we was running out of time and we had to get back. So I'd love to go back and just finish off the other areas that we didn't get the opportunity to see. And then another day we went to Whitby, and it was a phenomenal day. The sky was just crystal blue. The sea was just so calm, so flat, that we thought, why don't we go on a boat trip? And we've never ever done a boat trip before, because Whitby is Brian's favourite place. It's where his family's got sort of records that I think it was like his great-grandfather had a hotel there. So he's got this affinity with Whitby. So every time we go to visit his family in Middlesbrough, we always have a day at Whitby. So we had this wonderful boat trip, and the guys on the boat were just brilliant because they were dressed up as pirates. It was great. And they were giving us information about the local area and stuff. And then once we got off the boat, we went across the bridge to sort of the beach side, where all the shops are. And that was really, really pleasant. We bought some sweets from one of the sweet shops along there. And then we come back across the bridge and we went and had fish and chips in supposedly like the best fish and chip restaurant in Whitby. I'll show some footage on the screen. And it was looking really, really promising. The restaurant was air conditioned and it was a really nice sort of ambience in there. It was just a shame about the food and the service, really, because I wouldn't say I had scampi and chips and the others had fish and chips, and we all said their fish was okay. My scampi was fine, but it wasn't the best I've ever had. In fact, my local fish and chip shop do the best. It's called the deluxe scampi, and it's just phenomenal. But yeah, back to the Whitby restaurant, the fish was okay, but it wasn't phenomenal. And the chips were just warm. Now, bearing in mind, we'd got there early. We got there before it opened. We were in the queue. We were about 10 people down in the queue. So the chips should have been cooked hot and fresh and served hot and fresh. And they were just sort of warm. So obviously that had all been batch cooked before and just sort of sat waiting to be served. So that was a bit of a shame. And then when Brian went to pour his vinegar over his fish and chips, the vinegar bottle just spilled all over the dinner. So that was a shame. And then we ordered teas, pots of teas for us. And they were just, as you poured them, they were in those metal teapots. And as you poured them, they just sort of naturally spilled down over onto the saucer, over the table. And it just, those little things, I think, matter. Do you know what I mean? It makes the whole experience, doesn't it? So anyway, so that was that. And then so that was the Friday. And then on the Saturday, we had all of Brian's family over for a barbecue, because at our lodge, we had an outside area with a barbecue there. So that was really, really nice to experience the egg barbecue, because we don't have our own barbecue. So it was nice to experience that and catch up with the whole family. And then on the Sunday, I just wanted to chill because it had been a full-on week. We were entertaining the family. We'd laid on all the food and the drink. So I just wanted a day of rest pretty much. So the morning we just chilled. At lunchtime, we went to a local village, Swainsby, I think that's how you pronounce it. And we went for a Sunday roast. And again, we were slightly disappointed. It was very expensive. It was a 3-meat roast. And unfortunately, the Yorkshire pudding was a bit soggy, and the roast potatoes, they weren't crispy. Again, a bit like my chips. I like my potatoes quite crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. And it felt like the meats were all cold, like they'd been obviously cooked and just sat on the side. So it's a bit of a shame, really. But anyway, we ate it. And then we came back to the lodge, and where we've got a hot tub, we went into the hot tub sort of like a couple of hours after we'd eaten. And that was so lovely to just sit in the hot tub and looking at the beautiful blue sky. It was just absolutely lovely. And then we just chilled on the Sunday afternoon before we had to drive back on the Monday, which was a lot better driving home than it was going up. So that was our week away, and it was such a nice break. I think we all need just that little time away from our homes, don't we? Just to, because I've found this week since coming back, it's kind of reinvigorated me. Does that make sense? So I've got a few things done since I've been home. But on the Tuesday, Herbie was having a shower and he slipped in the not in the shower, when he stepped out of the shower, he slipped and he hit his foot on the cabinet in the bathroom, the sink cabinet, and his toe bent up, and he said, oh, you know, that really hurt. And like within hours, he started getting a bruise on the top of his foot. I'll try and put a picture of his foot on here if I can. It's not a nice foot. So yeah, so he so it didn't start really, the bruise didn't really start coming out until a few hours later. But because he was walking about on it, or limping about on it, I thought, well, he hasn't broken it, it'd be fine. But he woke up this morning and he said, I'm in absolute agony with it. It's really hurting. Can we go and at least see if I fractured it or something? So at 7:30 this morning, I took him up to A&E and they kindly x-rayed it and they confirmed he hasn't broken it and they don't believe he's fractured it. It's just a case of resting it as much as possible, elevating it, putting some ice on it for about 15 minutes every 2 to 3 hours, and when he does walk about, to wear supportive shoes just to help with that. So yeah, so I've had an eventful morning or day already, so if I'm looking a bit tired, please do forgive me. The other thing that's happened this week is I had a flare-up with my I don't know whether it's the pancreatitis or whether it's the gallstones, but on Wednesday, Herbie had actually cooked me some lunch, actually. He kindly cooked me a chicken wrap, but him and Brian love lots of spices with their chicken, and he completely forgot to keep mine separate because I'm a bit of a plain Jane when it comes to that sort of thing. And so I said, oh, well, that'll be all right, I'll eat it. So I ate that, and within an hour, I'm not kidding you, I literally I felt ill. I could feel the blood draining out of my face. I then went all hot and sweaty. I took a couple of Buscopan tablets because that's what the doctors advised. If I have a flare-up, have a couple of those. I had 2 of those, and as soon as I swallowed 2, I was sick 3 times. But thankfully, once I was sick, that kind of really settled me. You know, I just laid on the kitchen sofa. I just chilled for the rest of the day. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel completely right for about 24 hours. Every 4 hours, I took some Buscopan. But I thought, no, I really do need to shift some weight and really, because I am trying, but I'm not trying sort of avidly or strictly, if you know what I mean. And I know that I should be. And when I say that, what I mean is, you know, like if I have yogurt with honey and fruit, I'm not measuring the yogurt, I'm not measuring the honey and that sort of thing. So, and I'm better if I'm sort of being monitored or guided, etc. So the doctor had told me before that I could call, it's something that the Kent hospital region offer. It's called 1U Kent, and you can phone them up and they'll help you with weight loss. So I've phoned them up and I'm just waiting to hear back from them to get some help and guidance and advice on weight loss, because I think they can put you in touch with a dietitian or a nutritionist or whatever. I don't know what they'll offer me, but anything will be gratefully received, because although I have lost some weight, I've lost about 8 pounds, it's not coming off as quickly as I was hoping or as I would like. So that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. So that's it, my lovely ladies. I hope this has been of interest. Please do let me know if you've got any places that you can recommend to go in and around Middlesbrough for when we next go, because I will definitely be going again. And I will see you in my next video. Take care, and remember, you're not on your own. See you next time.